Hi Bob, welcome to Follow Your Arrow.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Thank you so much for chatting.
No, it's lovely. It's lovely to meet
You're
you.
having obviously like the biggest week ever at the moment, so
Been absolutely amazing, and I'm still up there and still buzzing, and there's still lots going on. But yes, after the debut EP hit the number one spot in the iTunes Country Music Album Chart, which is just such a beautiful sentence to be able to say, I am on top of the world.
congratulations. It's really, really amazing that it's hit. Yes, the response has been so far. How do you feel about it all? Has it been just
Well,
a week?
obviously, in my social media posts at the time, I said something like, "I'm running out of superlatives and exclamation marks." It's beyond my wildest expectations, especially during the current situation of lockdown. And I don't want to go
Yeah,
straight to that, but ordinarily as musicians, because I released a single in March, and
yeah,
that got to number two in the iTunes country single charts. So then lots of opportunities came in, and we were all scheduled with the band, with my lovely band, my amazing band, to hit the road. Lots of gigs coming up, and then of course the current situation
yeah,
arose. And then, like everybody else, we're using social media and technology to share everything that we can. Initially, I was really mindful and slightly perplexed about how am I going to do this then, because to get the single to where we got it to, there was a lot of personal interaction and a lot of maybe acoustic nights and gigs where we could promote. And then I thought, well, how am I going to do this? And then quickly I realized that the way to do it was to still share the full band sound, and we can talk about that in a bit if you want. They're welcome to
yeah,
the
yeah.
videos.
That'd be great. Yeah,
So how do I feel about it? I feel like it's gone amazingly well considering the current situation. It's gone even
yeah,
better than I thought it was going to. It's gone even better than it did on the first day. Because as an independent artist, normally you do everything you can to promote yourself with your releases.
yeah.
You hit the chart at the best position that you can, and then you stay there for as long as you can, and then you gently slide back down the chart. So to reach number two on Friday, I was on top of the world. So then
Oh, fantastic.
yeah, wake up on Saturday morning, early hours, to a text from my eldest daughter saying, "Have you seen the charts?" What? And I just blew my mind because it went
Yeah,
up.
I think it's so interesting to release during lockdown though, because I'm wondering if there's actually like a really good way to do it because people have got time really to really like listen and engage with stuff.
Well, it was a strategic. No, it wasn't strategic in that way at all. It's purely happened by circumstance. Sorry, excuse me. And
Yeah,
it was always scheduled to be released now. Or sorry, last Friday. It always had that release date. But yeah, I think. I was going to use the phrase captive audience, but that sounds terrible. But you know what I mean? You've got an audience,
yeah,
and everybody's looking for material, and artists I know are looking for content to put out. And in hindsight, in retrospect, now having that amazingly produced EP ready to roll at that point has turned out to be incredibly fortunate.
oh, fantastic. And another highway, yeah, it was released on Friday, so it's 4 tracks.
Yep.
And yeah, so just we'll talk a bit more about that later. I would like to talk about my favorite track and and maybe you could talk about which one's yours as well. Um, but I would like to know a bit more about you as a songwriter, really, and whether you have like a songwriting process. Do you write lyrics and then record the music with it? What is that process for you? Because everyone seems to have a different sort of way of approaching songwriting.
I think you've hit the nail on the head there. Everybody does have a different way of
Mm,
doing it. And as an individual, I think we all have varying ways of doing it, because you always got your antenna up, and you're always primed and ready for a song idea. And whether that's something that you see or something that you hear or just something that comes to you, or whether you're sat with your instrument. I think initially for me, I've written songs for many years, and initially you sit with a chordal based instrument, predominantly a guitar, maybe a piano, and you play some music, and you create on top of that. Initially, that's how I used to do it all the time. But now I feel I much prefer the way I do it now. And it's not always like this. Sometimes I sit with a guitar and I get an idea and then I sing something on top, or you get a riff and you think, okay, great, what's going to come from there?
Yeah.
But a lot of the time now, I think of a song and I sing it to myself, and then I go to the instrument and I go, okay, what's the chords then? Or,
Okay.
oh, I need a riff there. What kind of riff could I have there? So quite often I'm driving and I pull over and sing into my iPhone, or I'm walking along. I've spoken with lots of musician friends about this. We have lots of voice recorder memos on our phone of ideas, but you know, you can be gardening, you can be doing whatever you're doing, and I love that headspace of finding the song. It sounds really romantic, and I guess it is a lovely journey to go on. You're finding the song, because I know right now I feel blessed that I can write the songs that I want to hear. I'm not. You're younger. I've said this recently. When you're younger and you're really interested in the songwriting, certainly for me, it was the case that you do a 3.5 minute song, and by the time you've sort of got to the end, you go, okay, I completed a song, and that's the achievement.
Yeah.
The achievement now is capturing the song. Run was the first one of this recent batch where I just went, that's exactly what I want to hear. My benchmark now is, what do I want to hear? If I heard that done by somebody else, would I be jealous?
I love that. That's a great approach. Yeah.
That's my benchmark. I'm like, because you hear songs by other people and you're like, oh man, why didn't I come up with that? Why didn't I come up with that lyrical idea? Oh, that melody's amazing. Like, you know, like, I don't know, Need You Now, Lady Antebellum. You're like, what? That's amazing. And that's so good. Everything about it is so good. So for me, that has to be the benchmark of is it as good as I want it to be? Is it the song that I'm trying to grasp? And luckily, through years of songwriting, I've gotten to the point now. So my process, more often than not, is to come up with a chorus or a verse and then grow it from there. Like, I'm in the Monkey Shed at the moment, my home studio.
Oh yes, I've heard about the Monkey Shed.
I do a lot here. I'm talking to you on the computer, obviously, and I use Logic here, and I've got a setup, and I play all the instruments, so I can write all the parts. I'm not dependent on other musicians to come in and fill in the drums or the bass or whatever.
Yeah.
So I'm lucky enough that I can produce all the tracks in that way and sing and play the guitar parts and everything. So I generally know what it is I'm gonna do before I get here. I never really sit down and just try something.
Okay, that's a really refreshing approach, I think, and I like what you said about putting out music that you want to listen to. And yeah, that's, I think I haven't really heard that from anyone else. I've obviously heard about putting out how you feel and different approaches, but I think that's a really good approach to it. And so is that something, do you collaborate with other people? Do you songwrite with other people?
No, not through resistance, not through stubbornness. And I guess in recent times, those opportunities haven't occurred. I'm never going to say never. I'm not saying I wouldn't, but no. The answer is no. I enjoy the process a lot, and circumstances led to the fact that I do it myself here. Yeah, I would write with other people though. I would.
Okay, fantastic to know. So where did your love of country music come from?
There's something true that I can't quite put into words or grab about country music. And if you forgive me this rather long analogy, George Harrison in the Beatles was very interested in Indian music, and I was a huge Beatles fan as well. And I remember him talking about people like, why does a lad from Liverpool like Indian music? And apparently he said he was on the set for a Help movie, I believe it was. Okay. And they're in an Indian restaurant, and George Martin, the producer, has scored Hard Day's Night for Indian instruments. Dun, 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 dun,
okay.
Dun, dun, dun. And he said he heard that and something inside him just went, yes. And I feel the same about country music. I can't put it into words, and I can't touch it, and I can't feel it. That historically, my parents always had music in the house, and it was a wide range of music. But the music I've probably loved the longest and the most, wait there, I'll get it down now, was this cassette that they bought sometime in 1984. I don't know if you can see that. It's the Eagles'
Yeah.
Greatest Hits.
Oh, the Eagles are fantastic. Oh, I saw them last year.
Yeah, a lot of people want to talk about the fact that they're not country. I get that. I understand why people would say that, but this country element, it's country rock. I get that.
It is country rock, 100%.
I don't so much as mind whether you want to put them in country or not, but they're a massive influence to me. So since childhood, the Eagles music has been a constant soundtrack, whether it was in the car and my parents were playing it, or then it was me stealing the tape and having it ever since. And my granddad used to listen to a lot of Jim Reeves, and he liked country music. You know, I was into kind of rock music, and I was in a rock band when I was 16. And he said, "What do you want to do all that nonsense, all that stuff? You want to do some lovely? Do you want to do some nice Jim Reeves stuff? You want one of them slidey things?" He meant pedal steel guitar.
Oh yeah.
And so I grew up with that around. Fifth Gear by Brad Paisley.
Yeah.
For me, was a drawing together of everything that I feel that I would want to include in music, and I feel a real kinship with that album. And I love his whole catalogue, but I think that's his finest point, you know, because for me it brings together all the sensibilities. I guess we're similar age as well, so I guess he had similar influences: the rock, pop, the humour. He's absolutely beautifully far more country than my stuff. You know, distinctly, I'm kind of country rock, pop kind of stuff. So does that answer your question in terms of where
it does? Yeah, and I think I was going to ask you who had influenced you as an artist as well. And I think obviously you've covered the Beatles, Jim Reeves, and the Eagles as well, and now Brad. So is there anyone else that is on that list that's really
No, I don't listen to anyone else. That's all I listen to. I just listen to Brad Paisley on loop.
Oh, amazing.
My girlfriend says
maybe not the hat look though. I'm not too sure about the white hat personally, but
I think he looks fabulous in it. But
you can pull it off. He's got the southern accent for it.
I would look rather silly.
So I can see a lot of instruments behind you in the Monkey Shed, and I've heard already the Monkey Shed is becoming famous in its own right, I think, because I already heard about the Monkey Shed.
It's a long time dreamt of, and a long time coming to have a bespoke place where I can have all of the stuff around me that I've sort of amassed over the years. Most of it musical instruments, but if you were the other way around, I've put shelves up and I've just got everything around here, things from my childhood, things that I've had recently, things that, look, my girlfriend painted this, check that.
Oh wow.
We were digging up the garden
rock and roll.
in order to make the space for the sheds, because my girlfriend's got a Kerry, she's got her pottery shed next door. So I found this as I was digging up the earth to make the space to lay the foundations for these, and so she took it and I came home and she'd painted it up, because I'm a huge Kiss fan. So there's I could bore you forever. Oh goodness me, look at this. This is a birthday card from Brad Paisley.
Oh my goodness.
Only because my wonderful girlfriend Kerry was so tenacious in trying to get me a birthday card from Brad Paisley. Such a big fan.
Nice.
Eventually, it worked out. There's so much stuff here. I started off the Monkey Shed videos with saying I'll share stuff.
Yeah, you should. It's amazing. And go on the older social media pages.
Yeah.
So instrument-wise, do you play all of those instruments? So tell us about what you play.
I play guitar, bass, drums, keyboards, and sing, and I produce and engineer my pre-production demos here. I've got a pedal steel, but cheese on toast, that is the most complicated instrument. The most beautiful sound. You know, when you watch somebody play pedal steel, it looks quite serene because their hands are kind of like this and they've got the steel that they're sliding up and down the strings. Yeah. But I guess, what's that analogy about? Is it a swan or something where it looks very graceful up above water, but underneath is this obviously. When you try and learn to play pedal steel, there's on my version, which is a pretty standard version, but that you can get more. There's 3 foot levers for your left foot. There's 4 knee levers that you move left or right. There's a volume pedal, swell pedal for your right foot, and I got my granddad, who loved Jim Reeves and wanted and said you need to get one of those. When he passed away, he left me a little bit of money, and I thought I'm going to get myself a pedal steel,
Yeah.
cheap. So I've got one, and it's just under the table here. It's on my list of things to do in retirement, probably.
Well, I don't know. You've got me gonna be busy for a while, so you might have to push it back a few years.
Yeah. So yes, I do play all the instruments. I'm a rock pop kind of instrument.
Yeah. Fab. Well, I'm loving all the tracks on Another Highway. Running from the Rain is definitely my favourite because I literally closed my eyes and felt like I was on the American highway about to go on an adventure, and I just felt instantly transported over there. So what is your favourite track on the EP, and what's the story behind the song? Can I make you choose one of your favourites? Is that like
That's
choosing
really,
your favourite child?
As a huge music fan, I've seen that moment happen so many times for my idols that you watch interviews of, and they come out with the phrases like, "Oh, they're all my songs are all like my children," or "They're like children." They're not like my children. I got 2 daughters. My songs aren't like you, darlings. It's fine. But no, they are special in their own way. And goodness me, can I think out loud?
Yeah.
Run is the one that I wrote, and I went, yes. So for me, Run has a special place because it's the start of this journey. It's when I drew everything together, and I realised that I'm writing what I want to hear now. I'm searching for music to listen to, and I'm writing that music. If I was to search and find that, I know I'd enjoy it. If that doesn't sound arrogant,
No.
hopefully it sounds confident, not arrogant. One of These Nights I particularly love because I feel really pleased that I captured the vibe that at least I was going for in my mind. You know those movies, those American movies, maybe like Lethal Weapon or something, where there's a scene in California, sort of somewhere in LA, right, where like there's a house on the side of a hill and the canyons and down below, and it's nighttime and it's open air, but there's a pool and the pool's lit and all the beautiful people are drinking the beautiful drinks. And I was thinking that it gave me that sort of 70s-ish vibe, and then which led me to be thinking about the greatest nights out that I remember having with my friends, and my memories go back to Cardiff, years of going out in Cardiff. And you know, those
great night out, Cardiff, absolutely great night out.
Cracking Cardiff. Well, I bet it, well, not right now, but I bet it still is. But my memories are a few years ago, probably further back than yours, of nights out in Cardiff. But you know those nights where everything is just right and you catch yourself noticing and realising that this is the best night. Your mates are great, the drinks are great, the bar that you're in or the bars that you go to, and you just don't want it to end. Maybe it's summer and you're outside and there's no weather worries, and you know that.
Yeah, that's what you mean.
That's what One of These Nights is trying to capture. I've asked people to send me pictures so I can put them in the lyric video that I'm putting together. So if you've got any photos of your great night out with your mates, then send them.
Yeah. No, I remember that when it all falls into place, and mostly normally like spontaneous nights out for me that happen. Anything planned, not so much fun.
Yeah. And you just roll with it. You go, oh, there. I wasn't expecting this. Suddenly it's 3 in the morning, and you're not as drunk as you might normally be. Keep going. It's great.
Yeah, exactly.
So
that's the inspiration behind that one.
That's the inspiration behind that one. She'll Do comes from from life experiences of my own and from narrative endeavors to try and tell a story. And I had a lovely bit of feedback from one partner of a friend, well, actually the guitarist in the band, Stefan, his partner, said, "Oh, we've all been there."
Yeah.
So favorite, probably Run.
Yeah.
Probably. Okay.
Choosing. They're all different, which I think that's really nice. And yeah, they've all got different stories behind them, which is fantastic. Yeah, I think it's such a brilliant start, but I guess it's been a fairly long time coming to piece these together to choose which ones you were going to release. And yeah, tell us a bit about that sort of your background and how that's all come about, really.
Well, I've got a large number of songs that I'm equally as confident about as I was about the 4 that were eventually chosen for the EP. But I reached out to Danny McMahon because I thought, how do I get myself into this UK country scene?
Yeah. Because
I'm following it on social media. I feel confident in what I'm doing. And I kept seeing the name Danny McMahon, so
yes, me too.
I sent out the message, which is totally deserved. And I sent out, I just messaged him. I think initially with the idea of like, hey, can I pick your brains, mate? And then he said, why don't you come in to the studio and meet me and my business partner, Drea Succi. So I went there, and then quickly it became that I'd found the co-conspirators I was searching for.
Yeah.
And they totally understood where I was coming from, because I'd been to a few studios around and asked them to remix the stuff that I'd done here in the shed.
Yeah.
And it came back a bit, some of them came back a bit more rock, some of them came back a bit more pop. And I kind of thought, that's not what I'm after. That's not the sound, because country's got a specific sound.
That's something Danny, I think, really knows about. Like, he's really researched that particular Nashville sound as well as
yeah.
That's what
Drea is a Jedi master. Master Jedi. He's like the Qui-Gon Jinn to my Ben Kenobi. Of being able to grab that and facilitate it, engineering wise, production wise, and mixing wise. So I went there, and before I'd arrived, I'd sent them a clutch of songs, knowing that it was going to be 4.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, I got that slightly wrong, the chronology. We met, we spoke, I sent them the songs, and then we got back together and said, okay, which 4? And I was really pleased that I had that sounding board, that amazing, knowledgeable, and such friendly sounding board in the two of them.
Yeah.
Just, okay, which 4? It was a no-brainer that Running from the Rain was going to be the single. Run was really close.
Yeah.
One of These Nights was definitely in there, and then She'll Do, because it's nice to give the light and the shade.
Yes,
definitely. So the process was choosing from many songs, which was the 4 best songs that will best represent me right now as a first release.
Yeah. So obviously we're in lockdown life at the moment, and hopefully gigs and normal life will resume towards the end of the year a little bit more. So what is the plan for the rest of the year? What's next for you?
Well, quite quickly on lockdown, I realised that following the success of Running from the Rain single going to number 2 and all those live opportunities come in, I had the opportunity for people to hear my sound, and my sound is that produced sound. It's layered guitars and it's drums and it's bass, and if I was mindful that if I go straight into the Facebook lives of just me and the acoustic guitar, I won't be representing my sound as it is. Because once you know an artist, it's lovely to hear them do an acoustic version of a song. The EP came out. I did a Facebook Live, and one of the guys I was a DC Brown Writers Round thing, and it was lovely. And I was on there with Thomas Sean Wynn, and he said, "Oh, I love One of These Nights. I'd love to hear it acoustic," which is the way it works normally. Is you know a song, and then it's lovely to hear it acoustic.
Yeah.
But I was thinking, if you hear it acoustic before you hear the produced version, you have no idea what the sound is.
No, true.
So people might not get
100% know what you mean. Yeah.
So I thought, I've got to get out quickly, and I had the idea of doing the remote gig. I didn't invent the idea, but I'm quite pleased that I got out of the gate quite quickly, and was one of the first ones to do the remote gig thing on social media. So I don't know if you've seen them, the welcome to the set lists. I thought what we'll do then with the band is song by song we'll go through the set list, and the guys record their parts at their house, and they'll send them to me, either video and audio, and in the Monkey Shed I'll put it all together, and I'll edit up the video to try and make it enjoyable to watch. And so we're going through the songs one by one. Where the 4th one will be coming out very soon. That's called Blue Sky Drinking. That's a stay at home on a sunny day, skive off work and do some drinking in your garden song.
Perfect.
I've got a collaboration coming out this Thursday, but I can't say much more because it's in hand and it's going to be released. But it's been a lovely collaboration with some dear friends on the UK country music scene.
Fantastic.
Got the One of These Nights video to put together that I mentioned. I'm asking people to send me their pictures of a great night out, and with their blessing and their consent, I'll feature them in the video for One of These Nights. I'm doing the Corona Palooza live in the living room this Saturday. My slot is between 2 and 3 p.m. So thanks to James Vince for asking me to do that. There'll be more lives going out, more kind of Facebook lives. Rachel and I from Scarlet River Management are hatching up plans to do Facebook lives and, you know, live performances with friends and that kind of thing based on the EP success and springboarding off of that. There's something else that I'm desperately trying to get working that I can't say too much about, so I shouldn't have said anything. I can get that working, and that'll be a wonderful thing to be able to share with everybody. It'll be a musical outcome.
Okay.
But that's really vague, isn't it? But I can't be any more specific.
Yeah. I mean, I love the Facebook lives. I'm trying to keep up with them though, because there's so many out all the time. So it's great when artists do post afterwards, because then you can rewatch the video if you've missed the live stream a bit, because everyone's sort of competing a lot with each other at the moment. So it's
I think the wonderful thing that's really hit me with this is the UK country music scene. The artists are so warm and welcoming. The fellow artists, I've made loads of new friends, and people like yourself and the studios and the radio and everybody is so warm and welcoming that it's not like a competitive scene. It's a really community-based scene. But the biggest thing that makes that happen is the fans. The people that want to hear this music are so passionate about it that these Facebook lives are much sought after by the fans. The artists are desperate to find a way to share music during lockdown, but wonderfully the fans are desperate to hear more. So they're so well supported. So to everybody out there that's watching all the Facebook lives, and to everybody out there that pre-ordered Another Highway and Running from the Rain previously and are streaming it on Spotify now, to all the UK country music fans, thank you so much. The support is absolutely beautifully felt, and it's wonderful.
Oh, I'm so pleased. And I think people do need that outlet, don't they? I think it's such a hard time at the moment, and I know I get all my sort of feelings out, I guess, and just it sums up how I feel with music, and I think that's why it's so crucial right now. So thank you for releasing it. Obviously it's a bit of a gamble to release during lockdown, but it's so great that you've put, added to what's out there at the moment, and time for people to really listen, and have a break and a refresh, and sort of engage a lot more in music than they might have done passively. I listen to a lot of my commute, and I've got a long commute to work, but now I feel like I'm really engaging a lot more. The sort of brain fog from trying to work so hard, and then I'm furloughed at the moment. It's just kind of been so helpful. So that's what I'm trying to say. But thank you so much, Bob. It's been so great to chat to you.
Lovely, man. Lovely.
And we'll hopefully catch up soon. But your new EP, Another Highway, is available to download and buy and stream now. So fantastic, and congratulations.
Thank you. It's been an absolute pleasure to speak to you.
Thank you so much. Take care.
Take care. See you soon.
See you. Bye.
Bye-bye.